Alright. I think I have everything set up and ready to go. So what I will do now is jump over to the chill stream layout and give kind of an intro for what I'm going to be doing on stream today. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, I'm going to start the BGM for the intro here, and then I got to remember to turn it off. Today is the official debut for a handful of new BGM tracks that I just finished recording this week. There's a mix of the next BGM collection entries and a whole bunch of stream sounds that I've been meaning to get recorded. And I'll be cycling through all the new stuff whenever I'm on the chill stream layout here. When I eventually come back to do Q&A, I'll put the music back up. But for the actual bet stuff, I'm going to turn it off so it's not competing with the Salty Bet stream. Before we jump into the actual breakdown of the betting stream, I wanted to give just a real quick series of updates for upcoming content. So I usually do that as part of an intro on the chill streams. There's not going to be a whole lot of dramatically different stuff going on next week. I still need to finish planning out the stream schedule, and that'll go up on Twitter before the end of the day today. I want to do a couple gaming streams dedicated to fighting games next week. There will most likely be one for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and one for another fighting game that I wanted to take a look at on stream. In between those, I'll have to see what I want to work on for other types of streams. We might do a jam stream on the weekend. I have to see how many days I've got to stream next week, then figure out what I want to do on those days. But I will do that and get the schedule uploaded as soon as it's finalized. Other than that, regarding other content, I am currently working on compiling the next set of Bandcamp uploads. I think I'm going to wait until I have a set of 10 tracks for the Stream Sounds collection before I put that up on the site. I believe, including these new ones that we're listening to on the chill stream right now, there's 7. So when I get 3 more put into the set, then I'll put that up over on the Bandcamp for people to download and use if they want. I basically did a session of recording in the studio a few days ago, a couple sessions to get a whole bunch of tracks finished and put into the recorded format so I could have them as background music today. Right now you're hearing this is one of the stream sounds from a while back, probably a month ago or two. This one is Ascending Step. They'll be cycling every time we come back to the chill stream format, or when I do the Q&A, which it'll actually be on the other layout. So what we can do is jump into the actual betting stuff. So I want to explain what exactly we're doing here. So I'm going to pause the BGM. We will come back to the BGM later. And I'm going to use the media share template for this. I didn't create a separate layout just for Salty Bet stuff, but that's fine. Now, the Salty Bet audio sometimes has copyrighted tracks, so I'm actually going to put the audio down a little bit more than usual. It's probably not going to be super loud, but you guys should still be able to hear the sound effects and everything in the background. And what I will do is maximize this. And so while this is running in the background, I'll explain what it is we're doing here. I explained a little bit on a previous stream, but I'll go into the full background just in case people are watching this later. SaltyBet is a stream, a dedicated stream. It's on Twitch, and they have their own website that just connects to Twitch, that streams AI matches from fighting games using the Mugen custom fighting game engine. I explained a little bit about where that came from and how it started. But like we see here, we've got two computer opponents that were chosen from a random pool. I don't know if there's a themed tournament going on right now, but basically there's two characters. There's one represented by red on the left and blue on the right. The AI goes and plays out the matches using both characters. And these characters want to range from existing fighting game characters with programmed movesets from their respective games to custom built assets and characters people have made from the ground up, to other special custom characters that are from existing properties but people have given super move sets or tweaked things and made them a little bit different. And it's best of 3, I believe it is. First 2 wins, 2 out of 3. I guess we'll see in the next one. And then it queues up the next match. It gives you a preview here on this screen, and then it jumps right into the next one. And once it loads the match, we can see here, it starts with a 40-second, is that what that was, 45-second betting window. And people on the site can bet money that they get just through the SaltyBet site on who they think is going to win. And there's different weightings depending on the strength of the character. And then after the timer goes up, then bets are finalized, and then the match plays out. We'll see that in real time here while I'm sort of explaining everything. We've got Renge versus Element MA. And for the different characters and properties, there's probably hundreds by now. I used to be on SaltyBet a whole lot back in the day, but it's been forever, so I don't know who's good and who isn't. But we can watch how the match plays out here just for an example. And then it also tells us the match count in order for whichever competitor to actually win. And looking at the readout, I've got, again, the volume's down low just so it doesn't pick up any potential copyrighted tracks. Alright, that was one round for Renge. While this is playing out, and we get kind of a feel for how the SaltyBet format works, the way I've set up the challenge here is such that when we get the preview screen that shows the characters, the betting screen before the match starts, I've got to pick one, either red or blue, who I think is going to win. And if that character wins the total amount of rounds and wins the match, then we move on to the next one. If I bet on the character and they lose, then I have to take a bite of, I've got fried chicken here that I bought earlier, and I've got a whole stack of hot sauces in bottles. If you want to see which ones I'm going to be eating, I'll call them out before I actually put some on some chicken, but I put a screenshot of all the bottles up on Twitter. Wazzy says, "Eat the hot sauce, B-boy." Hey, Wazzy. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're ready for some punishment. Okay, I think that was first to two rounds. Let's go ahead and jump in on this first one, and then we'll see how it plays out. And it transitions quick, so I need to pay attention. The next match is Vritra versus Ultima on Bio WYK. Alright. Vritra or Ultima. I don't recognize either of these characters. Vritra must be from a 3D fighting game. I'm gonna bet on the kind of Disgaea almost looking 2D sprite, so I'm betting on blue to win this one. But what we'll do is we'll play through a whole bunch of matches, and we'll see how well I do or how poorly I do as I eat my chicken in hot sauce, and then maybe in the middle, once I'm in a lot of pain, we'll take a break and I'll answer some questions, some Q&A stuff from Twitter. I've got it set up so that I can just load that directly into the template here and put the questions out so people can see it. Alright, so we're betting on blue. And what's kind of neat about the way they've coded the different characters from whatever respective games or whatnot, they come complete with whatever mechanics come from their games. And I'm assuming Ultima's from some sort of RPG because she has what looks like a kind of Final Fantasy RPG meter that pops up. And so the AI is programmed to use whatever skills come from that particular character's game. Alright, we're down one match. She got kind of cleaned out by Vritra there. We could see the way the AI is playing. Ultima inflicted what looked like status ailments on Vritra. But I think, oh man, she's gonna lose. Hey Edward, welcome to the stream. Ah, alright. That is loss number 1. Oh, that's a lot of hot sauce, alright. I got the classic hot sauce from Hot Ones on some fried chicken. I'm gonna put too much. Ooh. Edward, I don't know if you caught my explanation of how the betting's gonna work. But basically, I'm gonna be betting on the 2 characters you see on the preview screen with the countdown timer. I choose one, and if that character loses, then I gotta take a bite of chicken covered in hot sauce. Oh. And I dumped way too much in that first one. Alright, got Misaka versus Ogre. Ogre is from Tekken, I think? Alright, I'm gonna go blue again. I'm gonna bet on Ogre. The classic hot sauce is good, but for the first sauce in the queue for Hot Ones' show, it is decently hot. I also have a bowl of some caramelized onion mashed potatoes I made. I'll be eating that too. This is basically my dinner. Yeah, just so you're aware, Edward, I have the stream volume for Salty Bet down a little bit low because sometimes they have DMCA music on here, I think. So it's going to be a little bit low, but I'm going to try and keep talking through the matches so that it's not just dead silence. Ogre was off to an early lead, but Misaka's chipping him out, hitting him in the shins. Oh, I'm going to have to start betting red, man. I got my next sauce queued up if I lose this one. I think that Ogre is a custom 2D sprite, since if it's from Tekken, it's a 3D character, obviously. I don't know what Misaka's from. She might be from Toho, because there's a bunch of Toho characters in this. Oh god. Oh man, I'm 0 for 2. Alright, this next one I'm eating is called Ex Horesco. This one is 500,000 Scovilles. It's one of my favorite hot sauces, but it is strong. Tastes really good, but it is hot. Alright, we've got Temjin Arrange versus Edgelord Ravenous. Alright. I bet on blue twice already and lost. I'm liking Edgelord's his look though. I'm gonna go Edgelord. Don't let me down. Oh, my nose is sweating. While we're waiting for the match to get underway, since Wazzy is here, I want to shout out her new project that she's working on for the month of October. It's called Spooky Sushi, and it's a second channel of hers devoted to things like cryptids. She posted her first video for it today. So I would definitely recommend folks tuning in to go check out the Spooky Sushi channel. The first one was on a pants-based cryptid, which is really cool. So definitely go check her stuff out and get that channel some views. Alright. Oh, Edward says Misaka is from an anime. And Edward says, yo, that's a Jay-Z song in the background. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm a little bit low on the volume. But we got Edgelord Ravenous is off to a good start. Took round 1 pretty decisively against Temujin. I don't know what game Temujin's from. I'm guessing an old Neo Geo game. Alright, alright. Edgelord loses his clothes and takes the round. I get a break. Oh, that's a kind of nutty animation. If I run into anything weird with the audio, because again my stuff's not monetized anyway, I'll just mute the audio for anything that gets flagged in YouTube. I'm not super worried about it, but I want to kind of be careful since there's a huge library of songs. Alright, next up we got Alti Garnet versus Fang Double D? Fang DD? Is that what that is? Or OD? I think that might be OD. I'm gonna bet Alti Garnet. I don't know where either of these characters are from, but she has a cooler sprite. I'm fairly confident that the more better drawn sprite's gonna win, but we'll see. Sometimes it can be kind of deceiving. Some of the custom characters have like insta-kill movesets where they'll shoot a beam that does 1,000,000 damage. Yeah, I think it's Fang OD. Alright, let's go Garnet. I wonder if that werewolf one's a custom. I don't know. I've been so out of the loop on Salty Bet, I don't know what the meta or any of the big characters are. So this will be kind of a way to get back into it. But it's pretty close. Fang OD was off to a life lead, but oh, Garnet almost ran it back, and then she got stomped right at the end by a super from Fang OD. Alright, let's bring it back. There's a whole bunch of memes within the Salty Bet community about how you're supposed to handle bets. There's like the always bet on anime or always bet on waifu. But clearly that's not the case here, as I take another L. Fang OD wins. This next one I'm trying is Ghost Pepper Sauce, Hotter Than L. Got a nice picture of a Reaper on it. I think this song in the background is from Anarchy Reigns, which has an awesome soundtrack. Alright, let me eat this before the next one starts. Whew. Next up, Pipa22 versus Miyu Kurosaki. Alright. I bet on waifu last time, didn't pan out. We're gonna go Pipa22, bet on red. Whatever that is. Looks like a I don't know what that is. Looks like a mannequin or a dummy. Wazzy says lol. You guys should be playing this at home too. Oh, that last one wasn't as hot as the previous one. Alright, let's go Punching Bag Man. I have no idea what games either of these characters are from. Miyu looks like she's from an anime fighting game, or maybe like an anime RPG. She's fast, and she is smoking Pipa22. Come on. Oh, I'm gonna go through a lot of milk. Alright. Got one. My guy can run it back. I queue up my next sauce. I'm not confident in Punching Bag Man. He has let me down. Oh, come on. It wasn't even close. Good lord. Alright. This next one's called Pain 100%. It's a natural, non-extract hot sauce, but it is potent. My brother introduced me to this one. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Alright. Woo! Wazzy says, Matt, the girl is from King of Fighters. Oh, is Matt watching the stream too? If so, shout out to Matt from Team Toxic here. Oh, God. That looked like an old SNK sprite. Alright, we got Uesugi Kenshin versus Vega SVC Chaos. Alright, let's go for the M. Bison custom MVC Chaos. Edward says, I got my shot glass and my bleach. Let's see what happens. No bleach. I don't want anybody dying. Drink some apple juice or some beer if you're of legal age or whatnot, but no bleach. Alright. SVC Chaos Vega, or M. Bison for the West. These matches go kind of quick, so hopefully I don't regret doing this. Oh, he was off to a good lead, but Uesugi Kenshin is wrecking my guy. My guy! Don't do this to me, man. I'm gonna run out of hot sauce. Oh. Alright. We got the next one queued up, just in case. Alright, early life lead from Vega SVC Chaos. Alright. Almost perfect. Don't blow it. Don't choke. Don't choke. Oh no, he's gonna choke. No, come on, man. He's almost dead. One more. One super. Tied up. Alright. Okay. It's all tied up. Uesugi Kenshin off to an early lead. That's not good. Come on, Vega. You're supposed to be the boss of the game. Wazzy said, yes, good, suffer. Okay. Next up, Hellfire Hot Sauce. I'm not getting a break. We have a newcomer in chat. Sorry, I can't read your name. It looks like it's Chinese. But hello to you. Welcome to the punishment stream. Let me take a bite of chicken. Ooh, the Hellfire is good, but it's smoky. Next up, Night Gaunt versus King of Zero. On what looks like is that a Mario background? Okay, my name is Sinotrans Hongji Grassland. Okay. Did I call you Sino? Is that cool? Alright, I'm betting on Zero because Zero is a tiny sprite. Hopefully I don't regret that. I'm betting blue. Yep, welcome to the Salty Bet stream. I am betting hot sauce on the winner of these matches. And I am not off to a great start. And to answer Wazzy's question, I've won one. I got one break earlier. But what I've seen on Salty Bet, the little tiny sprites tend to have an advantage except when their AI breaks. And when their AI breaks, then they get smoked just as bad as the others. But my guy's doing alright so far. Alright, Night Gaunt, get wrecked, son. Edward says, I guess Wazzy is an S. Wouldn't surprise me. Alright, we got one for King of Zero. Maybe I'll get a break and get to actually eat some mashed potatoes this round instead of fiery death. Wazzy says S is an S tier. I'm gonna assume Edward meant S as in like a sadomasochist or sadist. Or both. We can let him clarify what he meant. All right, I think King of Zero's got this in the bag. I think he's too small to get hit by Night Gaunt's attacks. Yeah. All right. Get a break. I'm eat some mashed potatoes. Oh no, DBZ fighters. Oh. Oh boy. These are so hard to predict because they're usually all broken. Gotenks SSJ versus Majin Buu. Edward says S tier at sadism. There you go. You heard it here first. All right, I'm betting on Gotenks. I'm gonna go small sprite again. I think Buu's gonna get smoked by the small tiny boy. Oh man, my mouth is on fire. It's not too bad yet, but my nose is running too. All right, let's go Gotenks. I know one problem for some of the DBZ characters, the green bar underneath their life is their power meter. And they use that for supers and whatnot, depending on the game they're from. But a lot of times the DBZ characters have to power up and charge their meter. Uh-oh. Majin Buu off to an early lead, tossing out big beams. Wazzy says, is it so bad to want my friends to have unfortunate downfalls for their own hubris? No, because it makes good content. So, whether or not Wazzy's actually sadistic doesn't matter because she knows about creating good content. And what's going on? Come on, Gotenks. Oh, what happened? Did it crash? Alright, I think it crashed, which happens sometimes. Oh, ads. We'll let the ad play, I guess. Oh, this is that really cringy Coke commercial. That commercial's god-awful. If you guys haven't seen that one, you should check it out. It's really bad. Alright, I'm gonna bet on Arachnus here for this one. And since the last one crashed, I'll do double if I lose. I'll do 1 if I win, 1 shot of hot sauce if I win, 2 if I lose. Since the last one crashed. Arachnus, that's a Metroid sprite. Wazzy says, I mean, I'm not out here going, you gotta eat that chicken, B-boy. Okay. Not a good start for my boy Arachnus. Really not a good start. He's down 50% already from like 1 attack. Alright. That's 2. 2 bites of chicken and hot sauce. Next one is Wilshire Chili Farm. This one is a Trinidad Scorpion hot sauce. I think it's 1 or 2 million in Scoville. This is a good one. 1 bite. 2 bites. We have A Yuki versus First Gundam. Wazzy says that BGM's from the Persona 4 fighting game. Oh, is it from Ultimax? Oh man. That's cool. Ultimax has a really good soundtrack. I want to say that's a King of the Monsters custom sprite. Now let's go A Yuki. Bet on red. I haven't played Ultimax in forever. Oh, maybe that's not from... Well, I don't know. The kind of Sentai looking one looked similar to a character from King of the Monsters, but we'll see. If they released Ultimax on PC, I'd totally buy it. I made Naoto in that game. She's pretty good. Alright, first Gundam, getting smoked. Okay. Maybe I'll get a break this time. Okay. Yeah, maybe that sprite looks similar to King of the Monsters character, but it's not a custom. Let's put the Gundam away. Some of the Gundams have really crazy movesets in this too, from what I've seen. This one looks like it's kind of struggling to even land hits. Alright. Whew, got a break. Where my potatoes at? I forgot how fast the Salty Bit matches go. I thought this was going to take longer. I haven't even gotten through two full chicken tenders yet. There's Morshu in the background. Alright, got Cyborg TBP versus Master Hand. I'm going to have to rep Smash Brothers on this one. I'm betting Master Hand for this. I hope Morshu beatboxes in the background. That's one of my favorite memes in the last couple years. In fact, I liked it so much, I made a video on my channel. It's one of the first videos I made was me beatboxing to the Morshu beatbox meme. That no one really saw, I think. Alright. Master Hand. It's really well animated Master Hand sprite too. And I don't know what Cyborg's from. He looks kind of like the Terminator. Edward has a bunch of different surprised faces. Uh-oh. I thought Master Hand had this more or less in the bag. Okay. Not out of the woods. It's a pretty big sprite. But I think we can pull it out. Oh, maybe not. Need a big attack. Then a super. Ah. Oh, you're talking about Morshu in the background, Edward? Yeah, he's kind of a creepy dude. The animation from those old Zelda games are just awful. Alright, this next one is Pucker Butt Hot Sauce. This one is pretty hot. Ooh. Oh, I see, Edward. The emojis are imitating what Morshu's mouth is doing. Oh, one's smoking. Mika Uraki versus Thunder Iku. We'll go Thunder Iku. We'll go blue on this one. I think that's from Toho. Wazzy says, heh, Pucker Butt. Yeah, this hot sauce is made by the Pucker Butt Farms. They're the Smoking Ed Curry. He's the guy who engineers like the crazy hot peppers like Pepper X. And so they make their own hot sauce. It's good. It's smoky, but whew. It's hot. Alright, Thunder Iku, let's go. I think that's a Toho character. Mika looks like she's from an SNK fighting game too, but not one I recognize. Alright. Come on, Iku. It's close. Edward says, Pucker Butt? I hardly know her. That's right. Okay, Thunder Iku clutching it out. This is a Mega Man X 2 or 3 song. This is Bubble Crab's theme, I think? A remix of it. Alright, Thunder Iku is off to an early life lead. Now it's getting kind of dominated by Mika. Oh, big super. Alright, life lead shrinking. Oh. Mika ties it up. Come on, Thunder Iku. Don't get perfected. Should we make a special rule that if my character gets perfected to lose the match, then I have to do an extra bite? I'll let you guys decide for the next one. But for this one, I'm going to just do one. Because my face is starting to hurt. Alright, I got Last Stab from Hot Ones. This one's pretty decently hot, so I'm not going to put a ton on here. Ooh. Oh, that's the character from that one. Oh, what's the name of that fighting game with the live action characters scanned in fighting against the digitized actors fighting against sprites? I saw a video that I think Max did on that one. Dark Queen Carmilla versus Conan Edogawa from Detective Conan. I'm gonna go Conan. Wazzy says yes on the perfect addendum. Alright, fine. If my character loses to a perfect for the final round, that's 2 bites instead of 1. I will do it. Alright, Conan. I can't remember for the life of me what game that was. It was a weird one, though. Alright. Dark Queen Carmilla off to commanding life lead. Conan is yet to land a hit. Man, if my character loses and gets double perfected, oh, maybe we'll make an addendum for that if it happens. But come on, Conan, you gotta do something. What? Okay, he can insta-killer. That works. It's tied up. 2 insta-kills back-to-back. Raw super for the win. That's ridiculous. Okay, well, I don't gotta do anything for this one. You guys got cheated. I know nothing about that character. That's funny. If we see Conan again, always bet Conan. Edward says, bruh, Conan finna get ada-ada'd. I think he did the ada-ada'ing there. He Phoenix righted her. Yeeted her right out of existence. Ron Max versus Iori from King of Fighters 13. Alright. I gotta rep my boy Iori. Betting blue. That last match was funny. I thought for sure Conan was gonna get double perfected. I don't know what Ron was. It Ron Max? I don't know what game that character's from. Looks like another old SNK fighting game. Okay, I think Iori's faster, but it looks like Ron Max has grapple moves. And a perspective dodge? Is that what that was? Oh, he might be from a wrestling game. Alright. Ron Max got the life lead. Iori's evening it up with a super. Get that Orochi blood. Ron Max comes in on a clothesline. That evasion move is... Oh, okay. It looked like he was evading around Iori's attacks there, so they weren't hitting. And Ron Max takes round one. Oh boy. Once again, Ron Max out a bit of a life lead early. It's still close. Iori down to about 50%. Lands a super. He doesn't do as much damage as Ron's moves. But now it's pretty close. Not anymore. Come on. Run it back, Iori. I believe in SNK. Get him in the corner. Okay, that corner works. Alright, super finish. Iori ties it up. 1-1. Oh, okay. Super combo from Ron Max. Iori puts him in the corner, chains into super. Oh, that looked like it could have been trouble if it hit. Let's go, Iori. Put him away. Uh-oh. Ron Max with the grapples. Oh, it's close. I think one more super from Iori will do it. Yeah. All right. Whew. Okay. Potatoes it is. That was close. Iori won 2 in a row, came from behind. Fight Stick versus Bartz on BTLK Bear. Bartz, is that the FF5 character? Nope. Fight Stick versus Bartz. All right, how do we feel about the stick figure character that looks like it was animated in Flash in like 2002? I gotta go for the meme fighter. I go for put my money on Fight Stick. Let's go. And Bartz looks like he's from a similar wrestling game as some of the other characters. Okay, stick figure man. Let's see it. Oh, right away. One stick over here, man. Do something. All right. Got combos, got supers. Wow, that Bartz does a lot of damage, though. Okay, evening up. Fight Sticks looking all right. Ah. That crouching heavy uppercut. All right, Bartz takes round 1. What was that? I didn't do anything. Uh-oh. Fight's just getting zoned out. Don't perfect him. Don't make me do... Okay, alright, good. Do a double shot. Okay, pretty good damage from the super on Fight Stick, but... Yeah. Alright. Bartz wins. This next hot sauce is... This is the last one of the rotation. This is Carnival. This one's habanero, Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. This is a good one. It's a little more fruity, but it's hot. Woo! All right. Galmeyer Corp versus John Constantine. What even is that sprite? It's like Darth Vader robot with weapon hands versus John Constantine. All right, let's bet on Star Wars. Whatever that is, that's a funny sprite. And there's like a Tusken Raider robot in the background. What even? All right, Galmeyer Core. Oh, it's that whole group. I wonder. Oh, come on. Edward says, "Homie got Lego hands." Well, apparently he was too epic and he crashed the stream. So now it's double bets. Okay, the guy versus from I Want to Be the Guy versus Kyle. It's like a Kyogre from Pokemon Sprite Edit. Okay. I'm gonna bet on the guy from I Want to Be the Guy because that game's a nightmare. All right, bets are doubled. If I win, that's one bite. If I lose, it's two. Hopefully we don't get multiple crashes back to back, because then it's going to multiply the bets a lot, but we'll see what happens. Okay, that Kyle sprite's nuts. It's got tons of projectiles and beams. And the guy's getting locked down. Okay, that was not even close. Wow, that's a pretty interesting sprite. That's got to be a custom. All right, Kyle takes the first one. The guy's getting absolutely smoked. Wow. Almost a perfect. All right. Let's see. Start back at the bottom. 2 bites on the classic. Oh, this one's really loose. Comes out in a huge kind of cascade of hot sauce. All right, it's 2 bites. Woo! Next up, oh god, Donald McDonald versus Armai. I know there's a version of the Ronald McDonald sprite that's absolutely busted, but I don't know if it's this one. So I'm gonna bet Donald McDonald. I'm gonna bet red on this one. Whew. There's a lot of sauce in that last bite. All right, Donnie. I don't know what Armai's from. She looks like she's from an RPG. That's a really well animated Ronald McDonald sprite. I think that's a Japanese custom character. Donald off to an early life lead. Got Armai down to about half, but she's making a comeback. Now Ronald's on the offensive. Whew. Okay, that one move with the kind of crescent kick, that's from Rugal. From SNK. Alright, Donald McDonald takes 1 round. Oh man, my mouth's on fire. That was definitely a Dio Jojo pose right there. Oh man. Armai laying on the supers. Got Ronald on the ropes. Uh-oh. Okay, well, it's all tied up. Maybe we can do a Q&A in 10 minutes at 5:30 Pacific time. We'll pause the matches and do some Q&A. I am definitely in a lot of pain right now. I'll continue to eat some chicken and hot sauce while we do the actual Q&A itself. But come on, Ronald. My boy's about to lose. Wow. Such a good first round. And then he messed it all up. Choke. Alright, back on the XRS scope.
The best gear helps you win.
Oh, I got an ad.
Invis is faster than races. Invis is the most advanced aligner system in the world. Invisalign clear aligners give you the confidence to win.
Hey, Invisalign. Alright, we got Arrange Xion from Melty Blood. And we got Soul Bad Guy AH. I'm going to bet on Soul because I like Guilty Gear. Whew. I'm surprised Xion wasn't in the latest Melty Blood that just came out. I think it had something to do with the rights for that character because she's from another property. Alright, let's go Soul. Pretty close. Alright, Xion's got the life lead. Soul gets almost even, about 50%. Soul tries to put Xion in the corner, but she gets out. Oh, it's a big super. Now she's got install. Ah, and there he goes. Okay, one round for Arrange Xion. Soul off to a pretty commanding lead. Setting up for a perfect. Got it down to about a third. Oh, takes damage. And now Xion is on the attack. Lands the super pretty close to evening it up. And does that install again? That was life recovery. Oh, she's leeching. Oh. Leeching life, and Xion runs it back. Ah, I need some more chicken. Alright. Hellfire. I believed in Guilty Gear. All I got was pain. Whew. Next up we got D Miyako from Melty Blood. And Cell is Gonna Blow from Sailor Moon. Crazy's Foxy says Ohio. Hey, what's up, dude? Welcome to the punishment stream. We are betting hot sauce and chicken on salty bet matches. Alright, I'm betting on Miyako from Melty Blood. We'll see if she can beat Cell is Gonna Blow. I have no idea what that DBZ character is going to do. He's a big target, though, and Miyako's really fast. Alright. Miyako off to a pretty good lead. Still hasn't done anything yet. I get the feeling he's like an insta-kill if he's on screen for too long. Okay. Didn't get a chance to do anything, so Miyako takes round one. Maybe I get a break this round? Maybe I can eat some potatoes instead of some chicken and hot sauce because my face hurts. Right, round 2. Cell's gonna blow. Hasn't done anything yet. His special meter is going up constantly, though. I wonder if that tops out before the enemy kills him, then he does like an insta-kill. I wonder if that's how it works. Well, it doesn't matter. Alright, Miyako wins. I get a break for a round. Thank you. Potatoes are getting cold. Alright, a couple more and we'll take a break, do some Q&A. We got Arabian Moon versus Asuka TMNT Remix. Alright, Asuka is a character from the TMNT fighting game, and I don't know what Arabian Moon is from. Looks like another old SNK sprite, or maybe Capcom. Wazzy says, maybe pick better if you want warm potatoes. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the advice, Wazzy. Although, the cold potatoes may actually be helping. Alright, I'm betting on Asuka for this one. Betting blue. The cold potatoes might not actually be bad, considering my entire mouth is on fire right now. That's a Danganronpa background? Or at least the bear from it. Alright. Somewhat close start. Arabian Moon looks like she's got a lot of rushdown and some projectile attacks. Kind of looks like Cammy's moveset. Asuka down. Arabian Moon's got the life lead. Asuka evens it up with a super. It's close. Alright. Close it out. Oh! And Asuka chokes right at the end. Arabian Moon gets a special to win round 1. Ah, it's disappointing. We can switch to Q&A after this one. Alright, Asuka's getting smoked again. Her attacks are strong, but I think Arabian Moon is faster, so she's landing her normals and her supers at a faster rate, so Asuka's getting murdered. But it's close. One super could take the round. Oh, no, Asuka gets flattened by, looks like a Chun-Li super. Alright. Let's do this. Let me put this on mute. I'm going to eat my bite of hot sauce. This is hotter than L again. Alright, so I think I'll do it this way. I'm going to put the BGM back on. I have the Salty Bet stream muted. I'm going to put the BGM stuff on right now. And I think what I'll do is... One, let me know if you guys are able to hear the BGM, okay? I have it set about where it normally is. Maybe a little bit lower just so it's audible. I'm going to leave the Salty Bet stream running in the background, and then we'll do the Q&A on this layout. It'll just be the Twitch window in the back. Or I could maximize it, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I'll just leave it the way it is. But here's what I want to do for the Q&A. What I did was I posted on Twitter a few days ago. I said, hey, I'm going to be suffering on the punishment stream today. Oh, Edward said, sounds good. Okay, thanks, Edward. I said, if I'm going to be suffering using hot sauce on today's punishment challenge, it'd be a good idea to also do kind of Hot One style, do like a Q&A. So I said, people send me questions on Twitter. I will compile them into a series of questions, and I'll answer them here on the stream today. So I did that, and the way I want to do this here is I will put a couple things of hot sauce on my plate, and then I'll do is I'll take a smaller bite of chicken each time I answer one with a little bit of hot sauce on it. And then we'll proceed. I think there's maybe like 30 questions. I got a decent amount of them, and I just compiled them all. I looked at them briefly, but I didn't write any notes down. Originally, I was going to write my answers down, but I didn't have time, so I'm just going to answer them off the cuff. So let me enable the Q&A, and I will put it right here in the middle. I'll scale it up a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't cut off. All right. You guys should be able to see the question on the broadcast now. Let me know if you can't see it. All right. First question, I'm going to take a bite of chicken and sauce. Whew. All right. Question 1 from Twitter. My keyboard here. Cats or dogs or rabbits or birds or fish? So I'm going to assume the intention behind this question was for pets as opposed to like a eating. Well, people don't normally eat cats or dogs, but I'm going to assume this is a pet question. So I don't have any pets, but as far as animals go, I do like dogs and cats. If I had to choose between those two, I would probably choose a cat first, even though I like both. I think I'm a bit more of a cat person, but I like dogs too. My brother's got a yellow lab, and his yellow lab is awesome. So I'd say cats or dogs are good. I don't have much experience with rabbits or birds. Somewhat fish, but for the big two, I would say cats first, then dogs. All right, let me get a different hot sauce, and then I'll cycle to the next question. And in case those people that jumped on missed my explanation at the beginning of the stream, the BGM tracks that I'm putting through on the background today are all the new ones that I just recorded. You won't be able to see the titles of them because I don't have the song info, but I posted over on Twitter what they're called. When we do a regular dedicated chill stream, I'll have the song info up. Actually, maybe I can add it. Let me see. I just don't have it as part of this template. Let me try and add it real quick. I want text. Song info 2. Oh, not that one. Okay, I'm going to put the song info down here for now, just so you guys can see the title of the new tracks. All right, next question. Least favorite vacation. So this is going to be kind of a precursor to a story time segment that I'm planning on doing in the future. But if I were to think of a least favorite vacation, it would probably be the one time my family on Homeworld, when I was a larva, went to a lakeside cabin type setup with some other families. And I'm not going to go into specifics because this is going to be a story later, but let's just say I almost gave my father a heart attack. and it ended up kind of ruining the vacation for everybody. So that's probably my least favorite. Other than that, I've had pretty good vacations over the years, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into that. So I'll leave it at that for now, and that's going to be a story that I go into later at some point. I will say that you could chalk up everything that happened there to me just being a dumb kid. So that's the answer to that one. Moving on. Next question, best taco topping. This is probably not going to surprise anybody, especially given what we're doing today. But I think the best topping for tacos is hot sauce. Usually if I go and get something like street tacos or any sort of Mexican food, I like to put hot sauce on them. Hot sauce slash salsa, I will say, for topping. That's usually my go-to when it comes to tacos or just Mexican food in general. Okay. Need to remember to eat my chicken. I'll do 2 bites for the last 2 questions. Oh, that was ex Horesco. Whew. All right, next question. Best sport. When I thought about this particular question when I got this one on Twitter, I wasn't quite sure if the intention was best sport to watch or best sport to play. So I figured for the sake of answering the question, I'd answer both scenarios just to be thorough. I don't watch sports, so for best sport to watch, there really isn't one that'd be in the running because I don't watch sports at all. If I absolutely had to choose and pick one, it would probably be tennis. I understand tennis. I don't play it actively, but I understand it. My brother's a tennis player, so I've watched a lot of his matches. I think tennis is interesting. Being someone who lives in the States, I don't really pay attention to football. Baseball is okay, but it wouldn't be my first choice. So I'd say for watching, best sport probably be tennis. For playing, I don't really play sports either, but if I had to choose, I would say ping pong or table tennis to play. There was a time in late Earth school where I played a lot of ping pong. I had some friends that were pretty into it, and we had our own table at our place. Haven't played it in a while because I don't really have access to facilities now, but yeah, ping pong is one of my favorite things to play. I do kind of miss it. All right, next question. If you were a kitchen appliance or utensil, what would you be? If I was a kitchen appliance or utensil, I think probably a blender. A lot of things that I make, a lot of the recipes that I know involve the use of a blender or some sort of blending process. I guess technically blender slash food processor. But probably blender first. A lot of stuff that I make uses a blender. It's the appliance that I go through the most. I really need to bite the bullet and just buy one of those Vitamix expensive ones. So I have one that'll last me like 20 years. Because I tend to go through a blender like once every 5 years just because they wear out. Or the containers break or they just become less effective, so I have to get a new one. We'll see. I wouldn't mind investing in a heavy duty blender, and then that'd be the last one I buy for 2 decades or something. Whew. My mouth is still on fire. All right, next question. Let me get some different hot sauce here. Throw some pucker butt on here. All right, let me grab a bite and then we'll answer this one. This question says, realistically, how many pies could you eat? That is a really interesting question. Not necessarily what I was expecting, which I guess that's what makes it good. I would say, realistically, if I was hungry and not full or having eaten already, I think I could eat 2 pies. It would kind of depend on what they were, but in general, I'd say I could eat 2 whole pies and then I would probably be done. Any more than that, then I would most likely keel over. If it was a fruit pie, I don't think I'd have as much of an issue. If it was some sort of cream-based pie, like a whipped cream or something like that, those tend to be a bit more dense, but I still think I could stand by eating 2. I've never actively tried, but if I were to guess, I would say 2 pies in total. I think what I might do for this segment, just because it's a bit of a sidebar from the Salty Bet stream, I'll probably clip the entire Q&A section and put it up on the channel as its own video. That way people are curious of what I answered. They can check that section of the broadcast and not have to scroll through the entire Salty Bet stream. Okay, we'll move on. Give me 1 second. I need to blow my nose. My nose is running. All right, what sauce do I want here? Where's my Carnival? All right, let me take a bite and then answer this one. Ooh. This question is, if you had one celebrity beef, who would you choose? If I were to choose one celebrity to beef with, that's a tough one. I'm assuming this means just like a verbal beef, not like, you know, which celebrity would you want to fight? So if I had to choose a celebrity that I'd beef with, if we're talking about movies, musicians, you know what? I'm going to pick Lil Nas X because he seems like he'd be a really funny guy to beef with just for the sake of memes. I got nothing against him. I think he's an interesting fellow by himself and his music is decent. But if we're going to make a media spectacle and something that people can be amused by, I think a quote-unquote beef with Lil Nas X would be funny. So that's my answer to that one. All right. Get some chicken. Next question. Ooh, that was in a bit of a mix. This next question says, if you had a magical girl transformation sequence, what item or phrase would set off that transformation? That is also an interesting question. If I was a magical girl and I had a transformation sequence, the phrase that would set it off the whole scene and sequence would be, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Something I never say. saying that would cause my transformation to start, and then it would be probably horrifying to watch. All right, next question. Next question says, what one household item do you often lose? That's also an interesting question. For me, it tends to be a kitchen utensil component. And I'm not talking about a whole appliance or a whole utensil, but a piece of something. Like if I have to take something apart to clean it or run it through the dishwasher, without fail, I will forget where I put one part. Like if I hand wash one part and ran the other through the machine. It's happened so many times where I've misplaced one part and then I can't use my appliance or tool because I don't know where I put one section. It's terrible, and I need to stop doing that. It's a waste of time. I know I've done that with the little O-ring that goes under the blender receptacle that seals it. I know I've done that a couple times, and I can't use my blender, otherwise it would leak. All right. Next burning question. If it was your birthday, how would you decorate your cake? I don't think I've talked about this on stream before, but one of my favorite types of, I don't know if you call it a topping. Hold on, let me grab a bite of chicken. One of my favorite types of cake to eat, and I don't eat it very often because it's, one, expensive and not terribly commonplace, is marzipan topped cakes or marzipan wrapped cakes. Last time I had one was a long time ago, but that's one of my all-time favorites. So if I was going to decorate my birthday cake, it would be a marzipan wrapped cake. Right, that makes me want to eat marzipan now. All right, moving on. Get some chicken. Next question asks, the saddest song you ever heard. Okay, this is one that I have a pretty ready reference whenever someone asks me. It's not the first time I've gotten this question. To me, the saddest song I've ever heard is a Japanese song. It's by an indie band that I don't know if they're still making music now. They were active in the 2000s, but their name is Frafoa, F-R-A-F-O-A. And they did kind of like rock, singer-songwriter type songs, a female vocalist. But the song that they did is called Aojiroi Tsuki, or Pale Moon. And it is one of the most heart-wrenchingly sad songs ever. If you read the lyrics to it, it's about how the lead singer, when she was a kid, watched her brother drown. And the whole thing is kind of like a summary of her missing her brother. It's got a video on YouTube. I would not watch it unless you're prepared to watch someone cry on screen. It's a beautiful song, but it is so sad. It's one of the saddest songs I've ever heard. Like, the saddest to me. So, in answering this one, that's what I would say. Aojiroi Tsuki by Frafoa. Next up, hardest tongue twister. I never really practiced tongue twisters. Let me get some chicken here. I've heard a lot of the common English tongue twisters, like she sells seashells by the seashore. I don't really find that one too difficult. But some of the Japanese tongue twisters that I've heard are pretty tricky, like the Basugasu Bakuhatsu one. I can't do that one quick. Um, that'd probably be my pick for a tongue twister. But there's a whole bunch of interesting ones in Japanese. But if I had to choose one, it'd probably be the Basugasu Bakuhatsu. That's very difficult to say multiple times in a row. All right. Next question. This is also an interesting one. Socks. Opinions. Opinions on socks. I think socks are functional when you need to wear shoes. I don't wear socks in my own home unless I'm leaving to go somewhere and have to put shoes on. I don't know how terribly common it is. It seems like most people I know don't wear shoes indoors. I personally think that's the grossest thing ever if you wear shoes inside your house, because it just gets filth everywhere. So as a result, if I'm walking around my home, I'm either wearing no socks, or like in my kitchens, I've tiled kitchen floors. I have slippers, like rubber slippers that I wear. But socks, I don't wear unless I'm going out and wearing shoes. I don't really have a strong opinion on socks, but to me, they're just more of a necessity when wearing shoes. I know some people will wear them when it's cold or sometimes when they sleep. I can't do that. That drives me crazy. I wouldn't wear socks to bed. All right, moving on. Let me get a different hot sauce on my plate here. I think because I'm not doing this quite as fast as when we were doing the salty bet matches, the heat's calmed down a little, but my mouth is still on fire. All right, next up. In your opinion, what's the most overrated video game? I'm assuming this is a question regarding just a game, not necessarily a franchise. So I guess I could probably treat it like both. And that's kind of hard because if I was going to choose something overrated, you'd think it'd be something that I play and just didn't really enjoy. But honestly, if I were to think of, let's look at this at the franchise level. That's a bit easier for me to say than just a single game, because I generally won't play things that I don't think I'll enjoy. But for franchises, let's talk about an entire property of titles and franchises. What I think is the most overrated, and this is probably going to be a bit of a hot take, so let me explain what I'm talking about. Overrated franchise, I'm going to say Final Fantasy. And there's a couple reasons for that, with a couple exceptions. I like RPGs. I've been playing RPGs for a long time. I don't have a lot of investment in the overall Final Fantasy franchise. I've talked about it before, but I've only played a couple of them. But I know for a lot of people, their first RPG experience was with a Final Fantasy game, and I think that's good. But I have talked to some people that kind of refer to the franchise as the be-all, end-all for RPGs, and I don't think that's necessarily true. Some people have certain installments that they like more than the rest. Some people really like Final Fantasy X. Tons of people really like 7. My personal favorite, 6. But I feel like the entire franchise wouldn't be consistent enough to be the greatest ever. It's good. It's very good. I definitely would recommend people try it. But it wouldn't be my first choice for the kind of be-all, end-all when it comes to RPG series. So probably a bit of a hot take, but I'd say overrated Final Fantasy as a franchise. Individual games is a bit of a different conversation, I think. All right, let's move on. Let me get another bite of chicken. All right, next question. Ooh. Oh, I went up my nose. If you could be isekai'd into a video game, which one? If I could be isekai'd into a video game, which one would I choose? Now, I've talked about it before on stream. My favorite franchise is Monster Hunter. I love the Monster Hunter series, and I've sunk probably thousands of hours into the different games. If I was going to be isekai'd into a video game, it wouldn't be that series, interestingly enough. I think for me, if I had to choose one, I would choose the SMT universe, or Shin Megami Tensei. Something like a Nocturne environment I think would be super interesting to be pulled into. Just because the whole idea of alignment and sort of the struggle for survival is interesting. It would suck probably, but it'd be really an interesting environment to try and live through. So yeah, to answer this one, if I were to be isekai'd in a video game, I'd choose an SMT game. I don't know which one. It's hard to decide. The SMT mainline ones all follow a similar premise. That's why I said just SMT in general. But if I had to choose one, I guess I'd say Nocturne. You know, and thinking back to that last question on overrated video game, I think I have a better answer, or an alternate answer. I still think Final Fantasy as a franchise is overrated, but I feel kind of the same way about the Pokemon series. So a runner-up answer would be Pokemon for overrated video game or franchise. But we'll go ahead and move on. Next question. If you were in a dating sim as a dateable character, what would be your archetype? Let me put this over here so I can read it easier. Dating sim as a dateable character, what would be your archetype? That's an interesting question. I think for me, it would probably be quirky nerd character. I don't think I could pull off the suave or like kind of ladies man type character, and it definitely wouldn't be like an athletic or jock type character, because that definitely ain't me. So I'd say probably the quirky nerd. Yeah, that would most likely be my type that I would fulfill, not the type I would go for. This is asking what would I be if I was a character in a dating sim. All right, next up. Need some more sauce. We're getting into some anime questions. Favorite anime genre? For me, I would say my favorite anime genre would be action. I'd say action fantasy, action or action sci-fi first, and then probably comedy second. Thinking back to all the series I've seen, the vast majority of them are kind of action, maybe shonen-esque type ones, but not necessarily the case for all of them. Usually I'm not terribly picky about premise. I'm not a big romance genre person, and comedy tends to be hit or miss. But every once in a while, a good slice of life is good. I think I've mentioned before that one of my favorite anime series is Azumanga Daioh, and that's a comedy slice of life series, and one of the best in my opinion. But yeah, I'd probably say action or sci-fi, or action or fantasy for first. I haven't really watched a lot of horror. Horror's alright too. Wouldn't be at the top of my list when it comes to first choices. Alright, next up. Worst anime. Alright, now we get to the cancelable part of the Q&A. So for me, I don't really think a worst anime is necessarily something that's at a high risk, unless a series does one of a couple different things. If a series bores me, I usually won't finish it. If a series annoys me, I may finish it and then just have negative impressions from the experience. But probably the worst thing a series can do would be to not end. And I understand for a lot of anime series, sometimes they run out of money and they are not able to fund the majority or the rest of whatever it is they were going to do. And that's always unfortunate when it happens. And if it's a short series, that sucks, but it's not a big deal. But when it's an investment and then it just stops, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. So for me, the worst experience that I ever had with an anime was back in the early mid 2000s, and it was a series called Trinity Blood. And I think I've talked about this before. I think I mentioned in one of, maybe it was a tier list or something, that Trinity Blood really ticked me off because the whole series and premise were really good. It was well drawn. It was interesting. But then the last episode of the series, like 26, was all lead up to the big apocalyptic fight with the main character and the main antagonist, and then it just ended. They basically said, you know, we're going to go off and fight the bad guy now, and didn't show the actual fight, just stopped. And it basically invalidated all the time spent up to that point because it didn't resolve anything, and he didn't get to the main resolution with the plot points and storyline, and basically wasted my time. So from a production and quality standpoint, I don't think Trinity Blood was that bad, but the whole experience was just such a waste of time that it really left a bad taste in my mouth, and it really annoyed me. So I would say that's probably my pick for worst of ones that I've seen. But that's really subjective. I'm sure people really liked that one. It was about vampires and stuff. The premise and everything was really cool. Just stopped. Didn't end. A runner-up from ones that I saw in the 2000s, back in the Earth School days, would probably be Final Fantasy Unlimited. That series I had a lot to say about, but I'll just say it was a lot of wasted potential and ultimately not a fun experience. And you would think something tied to Final Fantasy brand wouldn't have that problem, but that one didn't upset me quite as bad as Trinity Blood. But there were a lot of problems with Final Fantasy Unlimited. That's like a good 3 out of 10 in my book. Alright, let me get some more sauce. We'll move on. I really need to do like a dedicated chill stream anime discussion. I keep putting it off because I know it's going to get me in trouble. Alright, next question. What was your worst injury? That's a good question. And kind of similar to the vacation question I answered earlier on. This one's going to be sort of a preview of something that I go into on stream for story time. If you've been tuning into my streams recently, especially our last chill stream, where I talked about the kitchen arc where I got sent to the ER, that was a pretty bad one. That was definitely up there, but it wouldn't be the worst. I have been to the ER 3 times in my entire life. Twice here on Earth and once on Homeworld. The worst one is the Homeworld injury, and that's going to be a story in the future. But I was a young larva on Homeworld, and I suffered a pretty serious injury that sent me to the ER. I'm going to say that was my worst injury, and eventually when I tell that story, you guys will get the full details, but it was pretty bad. I don't think any of my serious injuries don't involve the ER in some capacity. Alright, take another bite and move on to the next question. Ooh. Alright, if you had to choose a fight song, what would it be? So kind of like your own theme, like a fight theme if you're a protagonist type question, right? That's what I assume that is. If I had to choose a fight song, it would be the song Invincible by Pat Benatar. If you've never heard that song before, it's from the 80s. Pat Benatar is a really popular American singer. He had kind of like a rock style, one of the breakout female singers, solo singers from the 80s. She's one of my all-time favorites. I love Pat Benatar. But she has a song that is one of her hits, but not one of her biggest ones, called Invincible. It was from a movie, I think. It was used in a movie. But whenever I think about songs that want to get me pumped and ready to take on a task, it's usually that one I think of. So as far as fight songs, yeah, Invincible by Pat Benatar. Ren _ says morning. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. We are currently doing a hot sauce based Q&A session. And I am suffering through a decent amount of hot sauce. My face is on fire. We'll get back to salty bet matches in a bit, but first I'm going to work through the rest of these questions that I got on Twitter. So the questions are on screen on the broadcast. So I'm going to get another bite and we'll move on. All right. Next question. Most underrated YouTube content creator or creators? That's a pretty good question. I think I've talked a little bit about this before on previous streams, but not at great detail. My pick for most underrated content creators are technically a channel that's no longer active, and it would be the Super Best Friends Zaibatsu. What originally started as Two Best Friends Play would eventually evolve into Super Best Friends Play. They were a group of content creators that started with two dudes, a guy named Matt and a guy named Pat from Canada. And they started doing Let's Plays back in the early 2010s, I want to say. Maybe even a little bit before. I found their channel after it had been around for a couple years. But it started with two guys and they did Let's Plays. They occasionally featured a third guy from the fighting community that was a friend of theirs, a dude named Wooly. And eventually they brought Wooly on as a third content creator full-time. And they brought a fourth guy on named Liam. These are all Canadian dudes. And they primarily focused on Let's Plays and Let's Play gaming content. And this was kind of before streaming was really that big a thing. They would kind of move into streaming later, and when they launched the Super Best Friend Cast, their podcast, that was pretty good too. But what struck me as criminal about the Super Best Friends Zaibatsu is I felt like they never really got the credit they deserved. To me, when the whole Let's Play market became really saturated and there were tons of people out there doing it that had really high profile, you know, people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, and groups like Game Grumps, the Super Best Friends were always on the fringe, but to me they were really influential in moving the Let's Play medium forward. Between that and the fact that they were really entertaining personalities and dudes to watch, it always disappointed me that they never really developed a massive following. I think when they eventually stopped and they all split apart to go their own separate ways, their channel had, I think, like 300,000 subscribers. I don't know what it's up to now. I'd have to check. But they should have been a couple million in total subscribers, in my opinion. Between their memes and their original content and the fact that they spotlighted so many off-the-radar games that people wouldn't normally have checked out, I think they deserved a lot more credit than they got. So for underrated people, I'd say, yeah, Super Best Friends Play. They're my favorite channel when they were active. I followed their content for a long time. And I got to meet them too. I got to meet them at PAX one year. They were really nice. They signed one of my fight sticks. They're a cool group of dudes, real chill. It's worth noting that the members are all doing their own thing now. Pat and Wooly have their own podcast that was sort of the successor called the Castle Super Beast podcast, which is really good that I tune into. Wooly runs his own channel with a couple friends, and he does a lot of Let's Plays and fighting game stuff. Pat does streams and primarily Twitch-based content now, and he puts on his YouTube channel. with him and his fiance Paige, who also has her own channel. Matt, he streams and he does a lot of YouTube solo content now, and with him and his wife. And Liam is in school now, so he's not really actively doing a ton of content creation. So each of the members of the Zaibatsu went off and did their own thing, but I'm glad they're still finding success. And I know some of the more oblivious fans tend to bug them about getting back together, but because of the way the whole thing disbanded, that's not going to happen. So I always tell people it's not really fair to throw that at those guys. Just enjoy what they create now and support them. But yeah, Super Best Friends Play are the internet legends, and I feel they never really got their fair shake. All right, moving on. Biggest fear. That's always a $1 million question. For me personally, I don't have a lot of specific fears. Like, I'm not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of animals like spiders or anything like that. I think probably my biggest fear would be suffocating in like a trapped space. I'm not really a claustrophobic person, but my fear would be like getting stuck in like a cramped space and dying, or suffocating. Something like, you know, being trapped in, like you fall in like a chasm or something, or some sort of enclosed environment where you can't move. That'd probably be my biggest fear. Kind of one that's not necessarily readily a threat, but yeah, that's probably one I would cite. All right, moving on. Next question. Favorite type of food? Favorite type of food? I'm not a picky eater. I think I've mentioned that before in previous streams. I'll eat pretty much anything, but my favorite type of food would probably be Japanese. I really like sushi. If I had to choose one type of food to eat, if I had a choice, it'd probably be sushi and Japanese food in general. That's why I learned how to cook a whole bunch of different types of Japanese dishes. So I guess if we're talking like ethnicity and or nationality type food, Japanese, and specific type would be sushi. Other things like katsu, which I know how to make, or okonomiyaki would be up there too, but I think sushi edges them out. So we'll go with that. All right, moving right along. Next question. Least favorite type of food? Like I said, I'm not a picky person, so I don't really have a type of food that I won't eat. Let's see. I don't know, that's a tough one. I can't think of anything that I won't actively eat. I guess like unusual organ type food, which are a bit more of a delicacy type thing. But I know in other countries, different types of organ meats are good or popular. Not really my thing. I'd probably try it at least once. But yeah, that's kind of a tough one. get some water. Next question. Do you have an internet rival? That's also an interesting question. I haven't really been on the internet as a VTuber that long, so there really isn't a whole lot of people I'd say I have interacted with that could qualify as an internet rival. Probably the closest person rival-wise would be Wazzy from Team Toxicure. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably see a lot of the banter between Wazzy and myself. We like to poke fun at each other a lot, but there's no any hostility or anything like that. She's a pretty funny person, and I do respect her as a content creator. But she'd be the closest thing I'd say I have to an internet rival. And I believe she's streaming now, but if she watches this in the archives later, shout out to Wazzy. Alright, to grab some more chicken. Next question. This question. This question asks hentai, yes or no? I'm assuming this question is asking about the consumption of hentai content, which is quite the personal question to ask someone on Twitter. But it is Twitter, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I will answer shortly and succinctly. Yes. Moving on. Don't ask me for recommendations. That'll get me kicked off of the platform. What I did from this particular for the Q&A session, I just took image grabs of all of the tweets. I didn't edit them or write them anywhere else. So what you're seeing is the actual raw question from the tweet, just put into an image form in a slideshow for here on the stream through OBS. This one asks, how do you feel about people drawing Rule 34 of your character? That's a pretty interesting question. I did put a not safe for work art tag in my Twitter bio. So as far as people drawing Rule 34 of my character or my VTuber model, I don't care. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I would say make sure to note not safe for work or 18 plus content if you're going to do that. But other than that, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. Grab some potatoes. Oh, my chicken is cold. I bought way too much chicken. I'll be eating this stuff for the next 2 days. But we'll move on. Next question. You have a best waifu. Best waifu from anything? Be anime, video games, manga, anything? That's not really something I've thought a lot about. I could probably cite waifus from specific content, like a game that I play or a series, but I don't know about just in general, like the waifu to end all waifus. I'll cite one that stands out in my mind, but without going through a list of all the content I've ever watched, it's hard to say like the universal top tier waifu. I'm gonna say Melfina from Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star was one of the first series I ever saw, and it's one of my all-time favorites. But as far as like we must protect this character at all costs. I always liked Melfina. There's probably some others from other things I've seen, but that's the one that goes way back to the baby days for young Raku. If we're talking specific games, it's a little bit easier to answer. But we'll go ahead and move on. Alright, I'm getting into the spicy questions now. The next one says, what's your most shareable fetish? I'm assuming that means like YouTube safe shareable. It's also not really a question I was expecting to get from just a general Twitter Q&A, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. This may be a controversial hot take, but I would say holding hands. Next question. Feet, yes or no? Oh, I'm not eating enough hot sauce for this. Let me answer this definitively for the record in case anyone else in the future asks me, and I can just refer back to this Q&A video. I don't see what the big screaming deal is for feet, but if that's your thing, more power to you. Like, I don't know if I, as a VTuber, am ever going to get my own wiki feed entry, but my model's out there. If that's your thing, go nuts. Next question. Next question says, what's your favorite body part? Okay. Probably not as spicy of an answer as this person who's asking was expecting, but if I were to choose a favorite body part, I would say eyes. I really like eyes. And that's from a design perspective and also just a person-to-person perspective. I don't really have a preference for eye color or anything like that. I just think eyes are very, very fascinating. So yeah, I don't know what you're expecting. Person on Twitter asked me this, but there's your answer. Next question. If you could only take one thing to a deserted island, what would it be? If I could only take one thing to a deserted island, this is probably not going to be a super interesting answer, but if I knew I was going to be sent to a deserted island, I would take my glasses. Well, this is probably not something you guys have ever heard me talk about because, again, it's not something you can see on my model, but I have really bad eyesight. This Earth body that I'm inhabiting has really, really bad vision. Vision that requires corrective lenses in order to function as a basic human. And I wear contacts normally, but without contacts, I have a pair of glasses I wear like when I go to sleep or when I'm not doing my day-to-day stuff. So if I was going to go to Desert Island, I would have to bring my glasses because I would not be able to survive without being able to see. Like if you sent me to a deserted island with my contacts in, I'd be screwed because when my contacts eventually had to come out or got ripped or whatever, then I'd be legally blind. So if I had to take one thing with me, it'd be my glasses. Not interesting, I know, but that's my answer. Next question. I'm gonna grab a bite of chicken. I think we're getting towards the end of the questions. Once we do this, I'm gonna take a short break to get some water, and then we'll jump back into salty bit matches for a bit. I should warm my chicken up. So the question is, what's the most embarrassing thing that happened to you? This is a pretty easy one, and I covered this on the last Storytime chill stream we did. And you can also see the video that's on my channel. That's a clip from that stream. It talks about how I got sent to the ER during the kitchen arc. So, without going into the details of that whole story, it would be having the paramedics show up after I got injured on the job in the kitchen. And if you want the specifics of how that went down, check out the archive clip where I talked about the whole story from start to finish. But yeah, that was definitely the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me publicly. I've done plenty of embarrassing things that weren't public spectacles, but that one was a public spectacle and was mortifying. So that's my answer to that one. Moving on. Oh, this question. I figured I'd get this question. I've answered it before. In fact, it was Wazzy, my quasi-internet rival, that asked me this the first time. But the question's pineapple on pizza, yes or no? And Wazzy gave me a little bit of flack for not really coming out in strong defense or condemnation of either side. So I'm going to make a more definitive answer here. I'm going to say yes. I don't think pineapple on pizza is a big deal. I think it tastes fine. Pineapple on pizza wouldn't be my first choice of topping, but I got no issue with it. Hey, Penguin Party. Penguin says, "Hi, Adaku. Just got home from work and got a terrible question for you. Would you rather be locked in a room with anti-vaccine soccer moms, or be locked? I'm assuming locked in a room with Twitter, TikTok vegans." Okay, is that assuming the Twitter/TikTok vegans are vaccinated? If I could clarify the answer to your potential question. Because I'm going to assume that obviously the anti-vaccine soccer moms are not. But what about the Twitter, TikTok vegans? Are they vaccinated? That actually affects my answer. In the meantime, I will eat another bite of chicken. Penguin says, "I would assume so for the TikTok vegans." Okay. So, if I had a choice between being locked in a room with anti-vax soccer moms or being locked in a room with Twitter, TikTok vegans, I'd choose the latter. I'd rather be locked in a room with Twitter, TikTok vegans than anti-vaxxers because, again, assuming they're vaccinated, I have a less chance of getting the plague. And the other reason for that is, I talked about it on the last story stream. I used to work in a vegetarian station in the kitchen. So I'm familiar with vegans. I've talked to them before. Again, I don't have a problem with the ones as long as they're not in your face. So, yeah, I could deal with being locked in a room with them. Good question. All right. I'm continuing to eat hot sauce. My face is now getting more on fire. Heat's picking up again. Let's move on. Next question says, if you could meet one VTuber, who would it be? This answer is probably not really going to surprise anybody who's been following my content for a bit. My favorite VTuber, there's a lot of VTubers I follow, both on the big label and indie side. But across the whole VTuber sphere, the one I'd like to meet the most is my favorite VTuber, who's Callie, or Calliope Mori. I've talked about before how she's my favorite content creator from the VTuber side, but if I actually had the chance to meet her and talk with her, I think that'd be really cool. Between her personality and her music, I have a lot of respect for Callie, in addition to all the other VTubers I follow. But I think getting a chance to meet her would be a lifetime opportunity. Probably never happen, but that's my answer to the question. Penguin says, same. I don't have a problem with vegans. I just hate the ones that are in your face as well, but the respectful ones I like. There's nothing wrong with being vegan, but as soon as you start being preachy and trying to dictate to other people how they should live their lives because you think you know better, it doesn't matter what your lifestyle is. As soon as you start doing that, it's a detriment to your cause, I think. Be it veganism, religion, or politics, or anything. As soon as you start trying to be zealous about it, to me, that's no good. Everyone should be respectful of everybody else's opinion, as long as it's not destructive. And that's the caveat that I have for anti-vax people who I think are destructive. But we won't get into that here. That's just going to get me in trouble. But yeah, good question, Penguin. Let's move on. This question says, would you ever reveal your face? This actually is somewhat timely based on some stuff that was happening on Twitter like 2 or so weeks ago, I want to say. There's a whole big storm around a tweet that this one VTuber made about people posting IRL pictures on Twitter that were VTubers. And kind of like what Penguin was getting at with the idea of being in people's faces and preaching, the whole Twitter storm that stemmed from a single thread had to do with this person's take in that they were saying how they just couldn't support VTubers who've chosen to reveal their faces online. Just to summarize the whole series of arguments, the person said, you know, if you are a VTuber and you post IRL content online, you're a detriment to the overall VTuber cause and community, in a nutshell. And it was not received well. I mean, it wasn't a very good take. People can do whatever they want. But the interesting thing that kind of resulted from that whole drama discussion was larger and smaller VTubers out there in the community posting selfies of themselves in real life, primarily to counter the point from this one person who was making such a big deal about it, but also to say, hey, you know, here are the people behind what you perceive as just the avatar, and, you know, people should do what they want. I personally would never do that. It turns out that supposedly 4chan was getting a hold of those selfies and using it to dox people that were posting their information, which is not good. But for me personally, the whole point of being a VTuber is, you know, to be virtual. I don't think you guys would necessarily be as interested in the person behind the avatar. But if I would ever reveal my face, I'm going to say no. It's a weird question to ask a VTuber, man, but I wanted to include it here just to address it. Moving on. Oh, we're back at the top of the list. Oh, well, good. So that'll do it for the Q&A session. I think what we can do now, for folks tuning into the stream, by all means, if you have additional questions you'd like me to answer, feel free to put them in the chat like Penguin did. I don't mind. I can stop to answer questions people might have. But let's get back to the Salty Bet matches. I'm going to maybe go through a couple more. At the moment, I am starting to get full because I've eaten several pieces of chicken and a bunch of potatoes. But I do want to do some more matches, so we will go ahead and do that. Let me pause BGM. Get the stream volume up. It's going to be low, like I mentioned before, just to avoid the copyrighted music. Penguin says, what's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Is that American or European? That's $1 million question. Monty Python quote for every occasion. I don't know that. Gets launched via catapult. Alright, we'll let this match play out. And we're going to go back to the original rules. Oh, a tournament's going on now, so it might be best of 3. Or best of 5 instead of 3. Okay, well that'll make things interesting. So here's how the rules work. The bet screen here that's showing the countdown will tell you the combatants in this round of the matches. I have to pick one, either red or blue, and if I lose, then I have to take a bite of chicken with hot sauce on it. And I've been doing this already, and my face is on fire, but we're going to keep going. I'm going to pick Gundam X. Wing Gundam is cool. That's from the actual series Gundam Wing. But I believe in Gundam X. It's a higher quality sprite. We'll see if I'm right. Penguin says, "Do-si-do and around you go." That's right. Alright. So let's go red. Gundam X. This is from one of the SD Gundam games, I believe. The fighting game. Wow. That's an incredibly damaging special. And Wing Gundam 22 counters. It's almost tied up. Gundam X is in the lead a little bit. And Wing Gundam edges it out. That was close. So we'll find out if it's best of 3 or best of 5. Thought I saw the last round that was ending when we jumped back in, had 3 total count. So find out. Once again, Wing Gundam 22 out with a early super, taking chunks out of Gundam X's health, down to about 25%. But Gundam X answers back with that super again and pokes Wing Gundam for a win. Tied up 1-1. Penguin says the robot better change tactics and fast. Yeah, I think it's largely going to come down to who can get their supers off. Wing Gundam 22's got Gundam X on the ropes. Back-to-back supers. Alright, that's round 2. Alright, looks like we're doing best of 5. Alright. Gundam X needs to rally back and take 2 in a row to run back on Wing Gundam 22. Okay. Super. Now Wing Gundam answers back with another super. Gundam X still got a good life lead. One more super will end the round, tied up. But Wing Gundam's got the rush down and lands a super for the KO. That's the round. Alright. Going back to the X Horesco hot sauce. This is the 700,000 or 800,000 Scoville one. I think it's just shy of 1 million. It's one of my favorites, but boy, is it hot. Oh, I wonder if it's a Gundam tournament right now. Epion versus Dragon Gundam? Very possible. Penguin says Raku's down for the count. My colon's gonna be down for the count. Eating a lot of hot sauce. Not a lot of chicken. This is like my 4th tender. Take smaller bites. Alright, I'm gonna bet on Epion from Gundam Wing. And I guess Dragon Gundam's from Gundam Wing 2. That's Shenron? Alright, we're going red again. The perfect addendum rule from the first round of matches is still the same. If my character gets perfected on to lose the match, then I have to take a double bites of hot sauce. But it's got to be the perfect on the last round. Alright, Epion off to a decisive first round. Basically locking down Dragon Gundam almost all the way to the corner. I want to say those sprites are from one of the SNES Gundam fighting games. Wow. And Epion cleans out Dragon Gundam. Then go for a clean sweep. Oh. Oh, okay. That's not from Gundam Wing. Similar style, though. But now, Dragon Gundam's fighting back. Alright. Epion is kind of on the ropes now. But coming back with the counters. A couple more hits. Win the round. Alright, Epion takes 3-0 over Dragon Gundam. Penguin says, also, if you don't mind me asking, how did you come up with your name? And any advice for people who want to try VTubing? I'm not asking for a friend. After watching VTubers, I kind of want to try. Alright, let me take a break from this next round. We'll let it play, but I want to answer your question in detail, Penguin. So we'll let this next match go without a bet. But for lore, as far as how I came up with my name, so Raku is a word from the homeworld language, my home planet. Again, going back to the beginning, I'm an alien. On homeworld, the word Raku means song. And it ended up working out well for me when I came here to Earth, because Raku in Japanese is how you say luck. So my name doubles as song in my homeworld tongue, and in Japanese it's how you say the word luck. Technically it's also the way you say the word rack in Japanese, but I'm gonna go with luck because it's a bit more fitting. And for your second part of your question, advice for people who want to try VTubing, my advice would be to do research on the scene and specifically look at things like tools, the tools required, and the different things you need to do in order to become a VTuber. That way you have an idea of what would be involved in undertaking something like that. Take a look at the costs associated with things like getting a model, deciding if you want to be a 2D or 3D VTuber, and basically doing a lot of research on the front end to see, one, the big picture of what you'd have to do in order to become a VTuber, and two, if that's what you'd be willing to invest in. Because I understand the VTuber sphere is very big, and there are lots of people getting into VTubing, and it's a great platform and a great community, but you don't want to go in blind. So my recommendation would be to look around for information on, again, tools and costs and things associated with VTubing. And then beyond that, just talk to people in the scene. Like, asking questions here on stream is a really good way to get information. I would say for you Penguin, if you start looking at pursuing VTubing in the future and you have more questions, then just shoot them over to me on Twitter, or if you're on stream, feel free to ask them. If there are a lot of questions, you can send them to me on Twitter via DM or something. I'd be happy to talk with you, because I think trying to go and get into VTubing blind is not going to be to your benefit. And I've talked to people online that had questions about becoming a VTuber as well, or what goes into the process, the mechanics. So yeah, I would say don't be afraid to ask questions and find resources. Again, if you have questions, additional questions about things as you're looking into it, then you can ask me. I got no problem talking with you. It's cool. And I'd extend that to other people that are watching this too. Feel free to ask questions. I'm not an established VTuber out in the scene, like a big one. But I have been doing this for several months now, and I've learned a lot. So if I can help other people that are trying to get into it learn and avoid some of the pitfalls that I ran into, then I'm totally fine doing that. Make it easier for everybody. Alright. let's jump back into matches. Penguin says, thanks for the info. I don't think I'll do it now, but I thought it could be a fun hobby alongside my F-Zero collecting, so thanks again. You could totally approach VTubing as a hobby. It doesn't need to be a full-on job investment. You don't need to have, like, for example, a huge amount of investment capital just to get started. There's a lot of tools and resources to get you in the door that's not going to require a huge resource commitment. I'm saying it's just a good idea to know what those resources are and what's required to just get in the door. That way you know. Alright, we got Turn X versus 22 Gundam. Yeah, this is definitely a Gundam tournament. Alright, I'm going to go 22 Gundam. Betting on blue for this one. I'm going to go with the higher quality sprite and we'll see if... See, that comes back to bite me. I like the color scheme on 22 Gundam. And the projectiles are going straight over Turn X's head. Whoa. That's big projectile supers from Turn X, though. Essentially locking down 22 in the corner. And chipping is a lot of chip damage. Uh-oh. Oh, it's gonna do it. Wow, that's a super and a half. Wow. Alright. Turn X takes round 1. Best of 5. The animation on that Turn X sprite, it looks really simple, but it's actually got a lot of animation with the different moves. Penguin says, also I already showed my face on the internet, tried to be a game reviewer, still kind of am on Discord as shown with my little rants, so that's why I do think of it a job for me. Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You could also create a VTuber persona that's separate from the content you've created now. If you wanted it to be completely unrelated and not tied to the stuff that you've already posted, you could do that too. I know some people do that when it comes to establishing, what's associated with what content. Meanwhile, my dude in the back, 22 Gundam, is getting absolutely demolished by Turn X. Wow, 3-0, huh? Alright then. Got some hotter than L hot sauce on this one. Oh, because this is a tournament, we're on the Salty Bet main stage. That's why. God Gundam versus Hinu Gundam. I'm going to bet on the lower quality sprite this time. Go Hinu Gundam. Penguin says the reviews are sadly still up. Keep them up for joke reasons. Please don't watch. They're really bad. I don't know, man. There's nothing wrong with having a progression in your content. As long as you enjoy doing it, that's all that really matters. Alright, Hinu Gundam. I have no idea what different series these Gundams are from, except for some of the more well-known ones. I haven't watched the Gundam show in forever. But right away, God Gundam's on the absolute offensive. Going for a perfect? Nope. Alright, Hinu Gundam gets on the board, but still has a pretty big life deficit. Now God Gundam's got the combos in the corner. Wow. And a decisive first round for God Gundam. I'm really not picking well. I think while we were doing the Q&A session, the early parts of this tournament were going. So this is most likely semis. And obviously I didn't watch the original rounds, so I don't know who's good. So I'm going into this betting completely blind. But that's okay. I have a 50-50 chance, so maybe I'll guess right eventually. But God Gundam. God Gundam takes round 2, 3. Oh, that super's still going. Wow. Penguin says, it's been 4 years since I uploaded, but I plan to again. Plus on my Twitter, I follow you already so I can preserve my collection. Oh, okay. I wasn't aware that you were on Twitter. Is it the same name as here on YouTube? Yeah, if you let me know your Twitter at Penguin, then I could follow you back and keep an eye on your content. What happened? Oh, Hinu Gundam won. On the board, 2-1. God Gundam is still pushing the offensive. Seems like God Gundam is faster animation-wise. His attacks seem to come out quicker. But Hinu Gundam's pushing the offensive and has a pretty big life lead in this round. Okay. Penguin says, I just made one. My ad is the same as on YouTube, but the profile is Preston the Penguin. Haven't posted anything yet. Okay. I will have to go and take a look. Oh, I see you. You're kind of in the top section of my list here. All right, I will keep an eye on your content. Penguin says, also the icon is the same, Super Sugar Glider, the next to a Game Boy and a SpongeBob DVD. Got it. Oh, Hinu Gundam came back to win that. I missed the last round. I was looking at Twitter. Well, that's good. I'll take a bite of my cold potatoes. Heavy Arms Custom versus Wing Gundam 22. Alright, in the showdown of the Gundam Wing entries. I'm going to go Wing Gundam 22 on this one. Bet in blue. We saw Wing Gundam earlier that did a number on its opponent. So I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna Wing Gundam 22 again. I have no idea how good Heavy Arms Custom is. We'll find out. Well, right away Heavy Arms gets out to a life lead with a projectile assault. And looking to perfect. Uh-oh. I may have made a terrible mistake. Round 1 goes to Heavy Arms Custom, and once again, Wing Gundam 22 is locked down in the corner, getting absolutely demolished. Double perfect? Oh man, if this thing goes for a triple perfect, I feel like that needs to be an extra large thing of hot sauce. Oh my god. Locked down in the corner again. Come on, Wing Gundam 22. Don't get triple perfected. Heavy Arms Custom goes for the triple perfect. Alright. Alright. I will do a slightly larger dollop of hot sauce for that. What a crushing loss. Wow. Guess I'm going all in on Heavy Arms Custom 2 going further into the tournament. Ouch. My world is agony. Alright. Epion versus Char's Zaku. Penguin says, at least this isn't Hot Ones? Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because all the sauces I'm eating are the upper tier ones featured on Hot Ones. If you can take a look on Twitter, I posted some earlier today that showed all the sauces I'm eating. With the exception of one, the Pain 100%, the rest of them are all like the top tier ones from Hot Ones. So that's what I'm eating. That's why they're so painful. Alright, we're going in on Epion. I know Char's Zaku was in the match that was playing while I was answering Penguin's question. But we're going in for Epion once more. Yeah, I got the last dab over here. I already had some of that earlier. Penguin says, be right back. My pizza's ready. It's all good, man. Oh boy. Char's Zaku. Pretty neck and neck. Uh-oh. Special to win round 1. Round 1 goes to Char's Zaku. Come on, Epion. Right. Epion gets the first few combos out. Pushes Char's Zaku to the corner. Trying to go for some pressure and lockdown. A lot of chip from the super. Alright. Epion takes round 2. Char's Zaku leads off with a powerful projectile super, and another one. Epion's down to about 25%. Oh, well, it's over. Round 3 goes to Char's Zaku. Oh boy. Alright, Char's Zaku going for early super, getting Epion down to maybe 20%. I think Char's Zaku's just too fast. Yep, Epion goes down. Lost again. Alright. Switching back to Wiltshire Chili Farm. I'm going to need to take smaller bites. I am getting exceedingly full. And my face hurts. Next up, Turn X versus Hinu. I don't know if that's Hinu or Hainu. Let me say Hinu. Alright, we're going Turn X on this one. That was a bit of a sleeper. That high quality animation on Turn X was a deciding factor for that last one. So find out. Hinu Gundam stuck it out right at the end in that last round. Hinu Gundam off to a pretty aggressive start. Takes down about 30% health off Turn X. Alright, Turn X busting out the super. Going for decent chip damage and projectiles. Trying to zone out Hinu Gundam. Penguin says, I'm back with pizza and sharing. Nice. What kind of pizza did you get? Oh, round 1 goes to Turn X. Alright. Turn X lands another super? That was a weird animation. Penguin says pepperoni and sausage. Nice. Alright, now Turn X is putting pressure with supers. Trying to lock down Hinu Gundam, but now Hinu Gundam's trying to get out of the corner. Got a pretty big life deficit, but now Hinu Gundam with the combos. Looking to even it up. But Turn X lands a super. What did that do? I don't think that really did damage. Uh-oh. Well, that's a full screen super from Turn X, but not enough to kill. But enough to send Hinu Gundam off screen? Oh, is that timer scam? Yeah. Hinu Gundam had the life lead. 1-1. Right away, Turn X back-to-back supers. Got Hinu Gundam down to about 50%. Oh, that looked like a energy drain super. I saw the super bar going down for Hinu Gundam on that. Right, Turn X spamming the projectiles. Takes round 3. Alright, Turn X needs one more to close out the set. Everybody throwing out supers. Hinu Gundam looking to even up the life. Oh, it's weird supers going on. Like these ones that teleport the enemy, they seem like they don't really do much damage. Alright, now Hinu Gundam has the life lead. Turn X has got to get out of the corner, make something happen. And Hinu Gundam lands the combo super, but Turn X gets out, starts laying on the projectiles, projectile spam, and getting life back. Alright, it's over. Whew. Alright, I get a break for a round. I think we'll do a couple more, and then I'm going to wrap up for the session today. I am getting full. Heavy Arms Custom versus Char's Zaku on Salty Bet. That's a tough one. I'm going to go Heavy Arms Custom for that one. These are 2 entries that beat the ones that I bet on in the last couple of rounds. So let's go Heavy Arms Custom. And go for the shorter fighter. We'll see if I guess right. I wonder what that mobile assist in the lower right corner is. Like a tag-in system for Char Zaku? Alright, let's see it. Money's on Heavy Arms Custom with the massive projectile barrage. Heavy Arms goes for the super, trying to lock down Charzaku. Even though it's not really in the corner, it's just sheer amount of projectiles. But now Charzaku's on the offensive. Oh wow, that's a real fast catch up. Heavy Arms Custom needs one more good combo to close it out. There we go. Alright, round 1 goes to Heavy Arms Custom. The fact that it can combo into supers out of its regular shot barrages is pretty powerful. I've seen it land that a couple times where it puts the barrage out and just like that cancels into a super chain. It's pretty dirty. Charzaku's... Oh, wow. Evens it up. Gets a slight life lead. Heavy Arms pushing the pressure. More projectiles. All the bullets. And Heavy Arms Custom takes round 2. Could potentially go 3-0. Right away, projectiles and supers from Heavy Arms Custom are putting in work, but Charzaku's evening it up. It's close. But I think that's going to do it. Yeah. Charzaku is out. Heavy Arms Custom goes 3-0. Alright. I think this next one's going to be the last match for the evening. I'm going to bet 2 bites, 2 shots of hot sauce on this one. Heavy Arms Custom versus Turn X. I'm going to have to go with Heavy Arms Custom. The bullets. I think it's going to largely come down to who can get their supers off first, though. We'll see. Oh, this might be the final round of the tournament. It's on the championship stage. We'll see what happens after this. If there's another round, then maybe we'll do another one. Yeah, if this is the finals, then my money's on Heavy Arms Custom to win it. Was that an energy drain? Heavy Arms Custom off to a slight lead, but one good combo from Turn X evens it up. Penguin says, before the stream ends, I'd like to say I had fun watching talking, and thanks again for the advice and for the follow. Hey, no problem, man. Always good to see you and talk with you. Thanks for tuning in. This particular stream was fun. It was painful, but I wouldn't mind doing something like this again. I'll be editing the archive and cutting the question and answer section into its own video. So if you're curious to see what I answered in the earlier part of the Q&A, it'll be there. But looking back at the match, my boy Heavy Arms is getting worked. Time up. Turn X wins the first round. Uh-oh. I think Heavy Arms is going to have to work on zoning and keeping distance. Close up is dangerous range for Turn X. Let's see. Heavy Arms Customs got the life lead. Going for the zoning tactics to keep Turn X out. Keep those projectiles and equally dangerous supers far away. But now Turn X is going on the offensive. Oh, and regenerating life. I forgot that it has a life regen ability. Man, that's bad. I think Heavy Arms is in trouble because I don't think it has a life regen. Two in a row for turn X. It might be a clean sweep. Boy, it's going to be a lot of hot sauce. Alright. Once again, turn X. Pretty decisive set of supers and projectile spam. Yeah. I think my boy Heavy Arms is in trouble. Penguin says, rip Raku's tongue. That's not my tongue. It's going to be my digestive system and my colon that are going to suffer later. My mouth is slightly on fire, but my digestive system is going to be in absolute pain in a couple hours. I think it's over, man. Unless the grand finals is not best of 5. Turn X is just too aggressive with the projectile spam. Wow. Oh, no, maybe it's best of 7. Well, Heavy Arms isn't even on the board yet, and so far hasn't been able to do much to shut down that brutal offense from turn X. Even landing the super doesn't seem to do anything. Wow. And Heavy Arms is getting smoked again. That match? Nope. I think it might be best of 7. Doesn't really matter unless Heavy Arms can come way back and win like 6 in a row or 5 in a row. I don't know. It's almost a perfect. Heavy Arms suddenly woke up. Penguin says, I honestly would never do something like that. I can't handle anything spicy for the life of me. Yeah, that's fair. I like spicy foods, but I wanted to do something for the challenge here. So, I don't want anyone to say I don't suffer for you guys. Alright, now turn X is on the offensive, but Heavy Arms... Oh, full screen super from... Oh, wow. From turn X. Almost 30% or more. Oh, wow. Heavy Arms comes back to get on the board 4-1. We're going to have an upset. Penguin says, you don't suffer for us? Well, I am today. Alright. Heavy Arms had the life lead in the beginning, but now is getting outpaced by the projectile spam. Heavy Arms needs to get some of its own bullets out, or its supers, or it's going to get chipped to death from turn X. Oh, that might be it. Is that game? Ouch. Yep. Yep, I think that was turn X winning the whole tournament there. Alright, we're going Wiltshire Chili Farms for the last bit. I guess I'll finish off this whole tender.
It's in all of us. The courage to go
Oh boy.
and embrace the moment. Because it's all one big glorious ride. Being a passenger is not an option. Wrangler for the ride of life.
Hey, babe. What are you doing?
Meanwhile, the ads are playing.
Fanta and garlic crackers.
Whew.
You're not making sense.
I was hiding them from you.
Okay. What?
Crisis can happen unexpectedly to anyone. And though it may seem like a small barrier,
That Wiltshire is a
simple
Trinidad
line puts
Scorpion
space between the thought and the
hot
trigger.
sauce. It's really tasty,
Learn how
but
security
yeah, it's hot like the
organizations
others.
can help
It's a bit more
prevent
sweet.
The best gear helps you win. Invis is faster than races. Invis is the most advanced aligner system in the world. Invisalign
So when you bundle your home and auto, you can save
Who
more.
wants a home and auto bundle Extrava Festa Save-a-thon t-shirt?
I'll take one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
You could just hand it to me.
Sorry, guys.
Audible is the best place to listen for
All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the volume,
everyone.
put the BGM on, and we'll wrap up the
Comic
stream for
people,
today.
Curious people, and people who want something new right now. Audible has the best of what you love. Try it today, free for 30 days. Go to audible.com.
All right. Well, I think this was an interesting experiment as far as content goes. Oh, I see. Penguin said, "You don't suffer for us," because I said, "Don't say I never suffer for you guys." Well, I do think the idea of a hot sauce challenge is fun. This isn't something I would do very, very often, because I don't want my entire digestive system to fall out. But doing salty bet matches was pretty interesting. I may do this again in the future. I don't know if it'll be purely in challenge form. I'll have to think about it. But doing the Q&A thing was fun too. Maybe in the future, if we do another type of stream like this, I'll open up another time period for questions on Twitter and answer some more. As far as the rest of the housekeeping goes, like I mentioned at the very start of the stream, these new BGM tracks that I am demoing today are going to go into the regular chill stream rotation. So the next time we do a chill stream where we're just chatting, there'll be, was it 6 or 7 new tracks in the list, and they'll be added to the rotation. Just in case people want to see it as we're wrapping up. These are the names of the new ones. So I think we'll go ahead and call it good for today. Once again, thanks to all the folks that stopped by and hung out. And for the folks that were here to witness my pain. Would do again, but maybe not for a little bit. Penguin says, "See you later." All right, take it easy, man. And for everybody else, yeah, thanks again for hanging out. I will catch you guys next time. Have a good evening.